But it's time now to actually take a closer look at this circuit.
Well, this Baltimore track punishes cars and drivers like no other track on the schedule. It's a tight course, but you can pass here, mainly because it's so easy to make a mistake before the straights. If you get a good run on a guy, you can outbrake them in turns 1 and also down there in turn 3. But the hero challenge at this track comes in turn 6 and 12. That's where those chicanes and the big curves are. You've got to crash through the curving, and a lot can be gained if you get it right. But if you get it wrong, this place is going to punish you.
So there you have it. There's certain key points on this 2-mile circuit. It is not that long, but boy, it is brutal. Time to take a look at the starting grid to show you who is where, and it's quite an interesting grid. We had a very intriguing warm-up this morning with certain people we're not used to seeing up top. We're used to seeing these two guys. Yesterday, Scott Dixon, Wally, scored his 20th career pole.
I think T-Bay hit it up top. T-Bell said he's angry, and he is. He's got to just get as many points as he can. He's got to look at just winning races, and these guys are off to a good start.
Pagenaud, Wilson make up the second row. Let's keep it rolling and show you who is starting where. Tristan Vautier and Joseph Newgarden, two young guys, super talented. It's the first time that Newgarden's ever made it to the Firestone Fast 6, and he is pumped.
Not only was he quick in qualifying, but Joseph Newgarden, to me, is one of the fastest, probably the fastest car on used tires. In warm-up, he was spectacular.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, the defending champion and the man who leads the championship on the fourth row. We're going to roll through them like we always do, but Wally, I really want to ask you what you're looking for today. Is it going to be that chicane? Is it going to be perhaps brakes fading in this intense heat in this circuit that's so demanding on the brakes? What's catching your attention?
Well, obviously the chicane's going to catch a lot of people out, but I also noticed over the last couple of days, lots of guys locking up the front brakes because of the temperatures. They're not getting the right temperatures, plus there's no, you have to get all mechanical grip on this place. It's so rough when you're under braking. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of mistakes under braking, guys locking up tires and winding up in the tire wall.
Townsend, for you?
Lee, for me, it's all about watching Helio Castroneves on this start. I think that's going to completely dictate to everyone, including us, what is his mentality going to be for the balance of this championship? Is he going to be the hard charger and just try to win and push like what got him to here in the first place? Or is he going to lay back and try to protect the championship lead?
And before we get going, she has had a tough weekend, but we want to say happy birthday to Simona Di Silvestro. 25 today. We wish you a good race. It's time to check in with our onboard cameras, and Oriel Servia is back, taking over from Ryan Briscoe in the National Guard Panther machine. That's the National Guard onboard, and he's there for the rest of the year. James Jakes, as always, gives us the Acorn stair lifts onboard, and he had a very encouraging warm-up this morning. He could be one to watch him work his way through the field. His teammate, Graham Rahal, shows us the Sports Illustrated on board, and a new livery, a new paint job for Graham, our Mid-Ohio winner, and it's the Novo Log Flex Pen on board. It's Charlie Kimball, who goes well on street circuits. We'll see what he can do. And we scoot ahead to last year's race winner. Remember that, 13th to 1st for Ryan Hunter-Reay. He provides us the Chevy onboard view. What kind of a day will it be for RHR today? He knows how to win, and of course our championship leader, with thanks to Verizon. And simply download the IndyCar 13 app by calling ** Indy or search the App Store or Google Play. And another Verizon view, it is Scott Dixon. So there you go. There are our onboards for today's 75-lap race, the Grand Prix of Baltimore, presented by SRT. There's a lot to play for. We're getting into contract time as far as the championship. Now, the drivers are made to go single file through the chicane, and then race officials are hoping for about the first 5 rows to pack up before you see the green flag wave. Look to the left. We've got green. Round 16 is underway in Baltimore. The long stretch down, and look at this. Look,
I can't believe there's a couple of those guys. I can't believe they didn't make contact. They were so close going through that corner.
Oh, Castroneves has got hit while his teammate Will Power took the lead, and Hunter-Reay is crawling as he stalled that car.
But Helio Castroneves more than likely going to have front wing damage. He had his nose in there, but you can see the front wing is dropped down on the left front side. That main plane is sagging. Something is broken. Not sure if they're going to pit. Look at Graham Rahal.
Inside Hinchcliffe.
And guys, the only thing Helio Castroneves has said on the radio, John Erickson told him, said, listen, the tire pressures are fine. Helio said, but my front wing is not. They're going to look at it when he comes by. The pit road is literally right here on the front stretch, so they're going to look at it when they come by and see if they can live with this front wing as it is, Lee.
The problem with this, Marty, as we take a look at this, it's going to be okay on new tires, but as soon as he gets some laps on these tires, it's going to be brutal as far as turning that car. I would just be shocked if they can run a full run with the damage that they have on the front.
All right, let's watch Elio at the last second. He decides to try to tuck in on Newgarden. He just flat gets it wrong.
Yeah, there was no room to get underneath him.
Look at this move for the lead. This was Will Power. Beautiful. Down into turn 4, the hairpin, an extremely tight corner, and that was a well-executed move.
It certainly is a very tough brake zone. It's very bumpy. I raced here yesterday in the Ferrari, as you know. The brake zones for turns 1 and 3 are, it's like driving off-road.
One of our title contenders, Ryan Hunter-Reay, has plummeted. You saw him just crawling on that opening lap. He's dropped from 8th to 21st.
Evans on pit lane.
Figured he'd have to come. Coming to you, Marty.
Yeah, our championship leader comes in, and you can see that damage you were talking about, Wally. Obviously significant on the left side for Helio Castroneves. You see the guys going to work, trying to get him back out as quick as they can. John Erickson made the call to come in this early, and clearly they'll have to go to an alternate strategy now, taking a long time to get the wing on as well. One advantage, though, guys, he'll be in clean racetrack, but obviously we'll have to go to a completely different strategy for the rest of the day.
Marty, one of the things I just noticed, they did not change tires. They could have taken the reds off at that point, and I think that tells us that the red tire is probably the tire to have. You want to leave it on as long as you can.
So here's the order. It is Will Power, Scott Dixon, Simon Pagenaud, Justin Wilson, Joseph Newgarden. That's the top 5. And then Charlie Kimball, the orange and blue car, back in the distance. Takuma Sato, Tristan Vautier, Graham Rahal, and James Hinchcliffe, your top 10. See those overhanging trees and a lot of leaves falling? Although it's still warm weather, we're not yet entering fall. A lot of the teams have been complaining about the radiator intakes have been swallowing these leaves and causing extreme overheating temperatures.
You can take one maple leaf as a lot of surface area to block one of the radiator or oil cooler inlets, and temperatures can just start today. Dario Franchitti and one other.
Let's talk more about Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Well, let's follow up on what's been a busy start to this race, Lee, for Ryan Hunter-Reay. When all that contact happened early on in lap 1, the call went into anti-stall mode. Scott Dixon, or actually James Jakes coming down pit road right now, and what they had was anti-stall. They had to go into neutral to get it to re-engage into gear, so that's what happened with Ryan Hunter-Reay way back in the pack now.
This will be interesting to monitor these two guys, Helio Castroneves and James Jakes. Do you remember back in Brazil, Joseph Newgarden came in on lap 7, and that put him almost in control. Right now, we'll be back. Will Power is your race leader.
Command has been given. Row 1, let me know. Row 1 on.
Live in-car cameras.
Base card rolling.
4-in-1 mosaic. Having your heart raced as fast as theirs.
Here we go.
Hey, good for green.
That's powerful. Download IndyCar 13 now, only from Verizon. It's the Italians.
The Italians are coming! The Italians are coming!
The 5-passenger Fiat 500L. It's a big new world.
This is going to start a revolution.
Now, well-qualified lessees can lease the 2014 Fiat 500L Pop for $269 a month.
Held over through Labor Day at Joseph A. Bank. Buy one, get 2 free. That's almost everything in the store. Buy one, get 2 absolutely free. Plus, buy a suit or sport coat and get 3 free. That's America's finest suits and sport coats. Buy one, get 3 absolutely free at Joseph A. Bank.
Formula One racing on the NBC Sports Network. Home field advantage or too much pressure? Can Ferrari give their fans something to cheer about? Formula One racing, Italian Grand Prix, live next Sunday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern on the NBC Sports Network.
San Francisco, where the world's top sailors will be pushed to their limits, and where Team USA defends the oldest prize in sport. The America's Cup Finals begin Saturday at 4 Eastern on NBC.
You're watching IndyCar on NBCSN, brought to you by SRT, Street and Racing Technology. It is a very warm day here in Baltimore. Let's bring you up to speed. Here's Marty Snyder.
Familiar sight for Will Power, Lee. First, and like his teammate Dario Franchitti, they changed an engine this morning. The engine they pulled out for Scott Dixon, however, was mileaged out. So no penalty for Scott Dixon this morning in changing that engine. The engine they pulled out took him to all 4 wins so far this year, Jan.
And you can see that Simon Pagenaud
today, when I talked to him Friday, he said his car was absolutely terrible. They've made some positions, clearly made the car much better. And he told me this will be a good test to see how far this race team has come. 21st and 18th in his 2 races here.
Keep in mind, he is on the black sidewall we call the primary Firestone, and he has got some big times too. We also saw that Newgarden looked like he got by that position, but for these two, Tristan Vautier, don't forget that he is the teammate to Simon Pagenaud, and they've been very happy with both those team cars today. But Graham Rahal, wow, he is on a tear on those black sidewalls. It felt better when I was this morning warm-up.
And Lee, Dario Franchitti started last on the field today. He has come to pit road early on. They are on their 3rd engine for the weekend. They actually put a fresh engine in last night. That engine let go this morning in warm-up. Now they think it's a brake issue for Dario Franchitti. They're checking all 4 brakes. He said it's almost like a hose has fallen off somewhere. Something is not making sense with the braking system on Dario Franchitti's car. And also temperature's playing a big factor in that too, Lee. Much hotter today than it's been all weekend long.
Taking a look at the rear side of what we see for Takuma Sato, of course. He came in, and when he went by pit road, the engine sounded very sour. He radioed in that I'm having an engine problem. They're not giving it up. They're trying to see if maybe it's something they could cure with electronically changing components. But at the moment, Sato sits still.
Dramas for James Jakes. So we have an attrition rate that is growing and rising rapidly. What a shame, because his car looked pretty racy this morning. We noted in the course that top 5, isn't it? And for Will Power, this is the 5th time in the last 6 races.
Golf all morning. That's why I eat Belvita at breakfast. It's made with delicious ingredients, then carefully baked to release steady energy that lasts. You're golfing now, buddy. I got it. Belvita, steady energy all morning long.
And now introducing new Belvita soft-baked breakfast biscuits. Made with delicious ingredients and whole grains, they'll give you 20% of your daily fiber and a new way to get nutritious morning energy. Available in mixed berry and oats and chocolate.
A woman and her truck. A woman, her truck, and a 1,200-pound passenger. And 2 bodies with 1 mind. And a ribbon that goes on her wall, not in her hair. The all-new Chevy Silverado, with the best available towing in its class. Strong for all the roads ahead.
Listen carefully. Your wife has been taken.
Is she alive?
As long as you follow my instructions. Drive. You have an ability few others have. There's a package at the bank. Get it out of the city or your wife is dead.
I'm coming after you. You hear me?
The clock is ticking.
Here we go!
Getaway. Rated PG-13. Now playing.
Introducing a car company that's never made a single car. Legendary durability. Impressive mileage. Firestone tires. So unstrap the saddle, 'cause these old stallions are ready to run. Again. Whatever you drive a Firestone.
NBCSN is your home of open wheel racing, and next weekend the Formula One World Championship roars back into life with one of the classics, the Italian Grand Prix from Monza. Don't miss it. It's next Sunday here on NBCSN. So race leader Will Power dashing off into the distances. Scott Dixon and Power up ahead, and we've got our first full course yellow.
And those are on the blacks as well, aren't they? There's with Rahal's car.
And here's the yellow is for Ed Carpenter. Now that's the corner just before pit in. and it's unclear if there was any contact. I'm looking at the right front wing end fence. Looks like something might be hanging down. I'm not sure what happened there.
This will tell us a little more. Helio Castro Neves behind.
Yeah, I think something probably is hanging down there. That's the end fence. Just breaks a little too deep, locks him up, can't make the corner.
So the Fuzzy Chevrolet just spears into the tyre barrier. Incidentally, Fuzzy Zeller is here this weekend. This is Luca Filippi and the Barracuda Racing Brian Herder Autosport car.
I probably have fire. Yeah.
Yes, you do, Luca.
That's another Honda. We've seen Jakes, we've seen Sato, and now Filippi, and he does have fire. And this is a critical time to get out because things can light up fast once that flame takes off.
There's Bourdais. Dario Franchitti finally gets back out. He's 5 laps down after that prolonged period in his pit box. So frantic action down on pit lane. There goes Helio Castro Neves after pitting for the second time. Remember, he needed a new front wing earlier in this race. It's a shame for Luca Filippi, who we'll see at the doubleheader at Houston at the next 2 races. But he was telling us this morning he's feeling a lot more comfortable in the IZOD IndyCar Series. Marty?
Well, the theory here for John Erickson, pitting Helio Castro Neves, our championship leader, who you ride on board with right now, is that you kind of have to do the opposite of what the leaders do. So they pit here, they put the primary sticker tires on for Helio Castro Neves. In theory, you'll see the leaders pit in about 10, 12 laps or so, and then they'll stay out. In theory, they'll have an advantage at that point and be the leader of the race, is what Erickson is hoping for anyway, guys.
Thanks for that, Marty. So the list of retirements is growing. Luca Filippi, Takuma Sato, James Jakes, and thankfully we've just seen the 4-time champion Dario Franchitti get back off pit road and heading out. Now, before those stops, things of course have cycled now. Before those stops, Sebastian Bourdais was the biggest mover in the field. He had a crash in qualifying. He could not continue. He started from 22nd position. The only 2 drivers behind him were those who had penalties, Jakes and Franchitti, and he just marched his way through the field to the tune of making up 9-10 positions. So Bourdais is one to watch today.
Yeah, that was impressive. I was just watching Filippi get back in his car. I'm not sure if that's for the tow back or if he actually thinks he can restart it. I can't imagine, Wally, that he would get going again.
I think they like, I watched it a little bit yesterday, they like the driver to be in so they can tow it back.
Yeah. So we'll take a break while we're under caution. When we come back, hopefully the track will be clear. We'll go racing.
I thought a plane crashed and hit me or something. I couldn't expect that it would be Sato. He just unplugged his brain entirely.
Yeah, he's shaking his fist as he always does. Always somebody else's fault, but Will.
He was jumping to start so bad. He said play fair, but they didn't play fair at Texas.
It was just madness. He did exactly the same thing to me.
Oh, we've seen some fun tempers in the 2013 IZOD IndyCar season this year so far, including last week at Sonoma, where it fired up between the Ganassi boys and Team Penske. Now, little breaking news this morning. Derek Walker called a private meeting with the 4 drivers of the camp. Will Power, Helio Castro Neves, Scott Dixon, and Dario Franchitti. And I talked to both Dario and Will Power about the meeting, guys, and they basically said the tone of the meeting was very cordial, but it was very precise. Play nice on the racetrack. You see our championship leader, Helio Castro Neves, certainly affected by what happened last week. And play nice on pit road. Will Power told me, he said, I really liked it. I liked it because I know the rules now, and I have no question that IndyCar will come down very sternly if anyone affects the championship on the track or on pit road. So nice meeting among the Ganassi and Penske boys this morning, guys.
Yeah, we had a few meetings this week, too, with some of these guys. So, you know, and it is. I mean, listen, you play and work together all the time, and it really is like another family. But, I mean, I really want to commend IndyCar for taking a look at this whole situation from last week and say, you know what, maybe we should take a look at this and address it. Maybe there is a little bit more to it. And because, you know, Townsend, it's hard to explain to people sometimes the games that are played. You and I have been in the seats, so we have seen it firsthand. But there's a lot of people that go, no, that doesn't happen. It does happen in the sport. There's high stakes.
Absolutely, there's high stakes, and there's also high stakes in terms of safety. And I don't think there's any better validation than to have people that you and I have both talked to privately all week that are on all of these teams that we're discussing, who are admitting to us, you know, what takes place, that games are being played. But it's a game, and it's a serious game. and it's going to be played hard just like any other big-time sport.
Really special time for car number 19, the Boy Scouts of America. Dale coin car of Justin Wilson, coming off his best result of the season last weekend with runner-up in Sonoma. He's had a revolving door of teammates this year, but a really special one today.
It's interesting having my younger brother here, and a little strange in some ways. We've 11 years between us, so we've never really competed and done anything together. So to be racing in the same series is going to be strange.
When I was a kid, I thought he was a god, you know. So I grew up going to his races. I've always had so much respect and idolized him a lot. You know, he's helped me out so much over my career, giving me tips, and now it's paid off.
You know, it's just that strange thing. I want to help him succeed, but at the same time, I want to beat him. You know, I guess once the helmet comes on, I'm going to be thinking about myself. But when the helmet's off, I'm going to be thinking as a brother and want to help him succeed.
And young Stefan, who is 11 years younger than Justin, is a race winner, a multi-time race winner in the Firestone Indy Lights Series. They're kind of at opposite ends of their career in the spectrum, but it's terrific to have the Wilson brothers in the same race and the same team in the IZOD IndyCar Series. Wally, you raced against your brother, right, Paul?
My brother, my wife, my kids. We're a very competitive family, and none of us like to lose. I mean, it's really not a fun thing.
And right now, Justin's not really thinking about his little brother being in his team, and in this race right now, he's focused on perhaps trying to win this one to become the 11th different winner this year. Quick break, then more from Baltimore.
We know some people just can't leave things be. They wonder how much faster this thing could go. What if it weighed less or turned sharper? They know that things can always be better. We count ourselves among those people. Introducing quicker, sleeker, smarter. Best Civic Si yet, made possible by Honda.
Honda, proud partner of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
Years, Irwin has been making professional tools for professional tradesmen. Today, Irwin Tools salutes those who build this nation with their bare hands. Join Irwin in celebrating National Tradesman Day to say thanks for a job well done.
For over 250 years, we have always believed in quality over quantity. Please drink responsibly. Give me your street circuits, your ovals. Give me your road courses and your cathedrals of speed. Give me drivers who live to put it all on the line and cars unlike any other. Because this is America, and here we race IndyCar.
Only on the NBC Sports Network.
Caution number one here in Baltimore, and let's try and see if we can diagnose what happened to Dario Franchitti. We'll talk to Chip Ganassi. And what was the problem with the brakes at the end of the day, Chip?
Well, I think, Marty, we got a master cylinder issue, you know, with the 10 cars. So we think we had some dirt in there. We think we pushed it through maybe. We'll see if that fixed it. We're really not sure right now. We're kind of waiting for it to go green.
I know there was some concern about small brake ducts, and I know Dixon has the same ones. Concern you at all, or not really?
Yeah, no, it's not a brake duct issue. It's something else.
Not a heat issue, and no worries right now for Scott Dixon, Kevin.
Well, it seems appropriate that the Iron Man of IndyCar gets start number 212, the consecutive record here in the shadow of where Cal Ripken played much of his career. Keep an eye on that front wing there. I think you can see it dangling a little bit. Kanan at the start of the race made some contact. Yeah, definitely. There's damage there, and it's impacting the car. Scale of 1 to 5, how bad is it? He said a 2.5. They thought several times about coming in, but for now, they're going to stay out, and they might not even change it. They're thinking, we might be able to improve the car for you by just normal adjustments and keep this wing on to maintain that track position that you've made up. He started 14th, CANAL up to 9th.
Townsend, you played a little bit of baseball in your time, didn't you?
A little bit. Up until 7th grade.
No. But you know, they're still you know, out there sweeping this racetrack, and man, I'm just wondering if I don't duck into the pits when they're coming to the green and roll the dice, especially if I'm sitting back there, you know, 14th, 15th, 16th.
Well, we've seen Vizo do it, and now here's Stephen Wilson, I think, just ducking on pit lane for exactly that reason.
Castroneves should do it.
I was going to say, Wally, you worked with John Erickson for a long time. You guys think a lot alike. That's exactly what it is. When you were saying that, Erickson called Helio Castroneves pit road just to top off here. Nice strategy for the championship leader, trying to play this out and see if they can finally get some track position.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the hand that they were dealt, but it's working in their favor with these cautions going the way they're going right now, because these guys are going to have to duck in the pits in another 7 or 8 laps anyway if it goes green. So I'd be doing it now.
Slowly working our way back to green. Remember, we are in a town that are celebrating the Super Bowl champions. And Thursday night, Joe Flacco and the defending Super Bowl champion Ravens face Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. Then Sunday night is football night as the Giants head to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. NFL kickoff weekend begins Thursday on NBC. Here is a man who has been on a mighty move today, Joseph Newgarden. Let's check in with him. What's he been saying on the radio?
The car is not shifting anymore. Now it's not shifting. Oh, there it goes. Now it's starting again. There was just a brief moment there where they wouldn't accept any upshift. Yeah, 10-4. Things are probably just getting a little warm there on the yellow. Get a drink here and rest your hands a little bit too.
I've had that happen before. It's the worst feeling in the world, especially when you're having a great day with an awesome car and a driver who's feeling on top of his game. You're running around under caution, all of a sudden it won't shift. I had that happen on the warm-up lap for the Indy 500, and at the last second the battery voltage picked up enough.
There is Sarah Fisher of Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing. Big year. They moved to a new premises, a new wonderful facility in Indianapolis, and they are looking for that breakthrough day with their young star Joseph Newgarden. It could be today.
And you can see the stress on Sarah's face. You wonder, why would she be so stressed? It's because their car is so good, she told me this morning. Anytime we have a really strong car, I feel so nervous that something's going to go wrong. And having that little transmission issue probably just added to that.
They want it and need it so bad. And you know, Joseph needs a good run, but I'm telling you, he's got the car this weekend. If he puts that thing in the right place, he can win this race today.
Marco Andretti also took the opportunity to top off. Now, while they're getting ready for the restart, lots of calls up and down pit road about watch your brakes. There's been a lot of brake wear. They're very concerned on a double foul restart. Some people may not be able to stop as expected, so watch for that.
I spoke to Ben Bretzman, who is the engineer of the third-place car, Simon Pagenaud, this morning. He said, Wally, this place is brutal. It is the worst we go to for brakes.
Yeah, you could see it under braking because the cars are never on the racetrack when they're in braking. You'll see the front suspension bounce like crazy, and they're trying to get these cars slowed down.
Look at Pagenaud's jump.
Oh, he's going to try to slide it up the inside.
It's cool. And Newgarden looking up the inside. A little further back, you've got Hinchcliffe and CANAL side by side.
Now they tippy-toe through this hairpin. It's where Castroneves was tagged, and he also made contact with Newgarden on the opening lap. All clear.
Oriol Servia charging up the inside.
What's happened to Rahal?
Hinchcliffe, and I don't know. Rahal's fallen back a little bit. There he's in, right behind CANAL.
Tucked in behind Tony Kanaan, but it was Simon Pagenaud in the other light blue car. Now Rahal on the inside of the Indy 500 champion.
Okay, so
maybe pit lane.
So not a brake issue. He's complaining of rear tire grip.
Joseph Newgarden makes his first stop. He'll get off the sticker reds and go to the primary blacks. He's still trying to hang in at this point. It's been his best opportunity for a good finish, and they want to be aggressive here today. Good wing stop, they're out. Remember in Brazil when he was a little bit conservative, they said we're going for a podium, but now he's got some track position to make up, but he might have clear track space.
Well, let's show you what happened a little earlier with Joseph Newgarden. This is Charlie Kimball on the inside. Watch the car ahead.
See how wide Newgarden got there off in the gray. I think he got his tires dirty, and boy, if he didn't hit, he got awfully close.
This will show us a little more.
I think he got away with it. I don't think he made contact. We'll take a look. This will be a good shot right here.
So the battle for second place because our race leader has skipped away. Will Power all of a sudden has turned a 2.8 second lead into a 5 second lead. So we join the fight here with Scott Dixon, Simon Pagenaud for second. Both these guys have won races this year. Pagenaud, his first ever Eyes-On IndyCar Series race win in Detroit on the streets there of Belle Isle. And Scott Dixon, of course, a 3-time winner. He won those 3 races consecutively. So it's a good scrap amongst the top 3. Quick break, but you will see it.
I like to golf all morning. That's why I eat Belvita at breakfast. It's made with delicious ingredients, then carefully baked to release steady energy that lasts. You're golfing now, buddy. I got it. Belvita, steady energy all morning long.
And now introducing new Belvita soft-baked breakfast biscuits. Made with delicious ingredients and whole grains, they'll give you 20% of your daily fiber and a new way to get nutritious morning energy. Available in mixed berry and oats and chocolate.
It's the Italians.
The Italians are coming! The Italians are coming!
The 5-passenger Fiat 500L. It's a big new world.
This is going to start a revolution.
Now, well-qualified lessees can lease the 2014 Fiat 500L Pop for $269 a month.
Inside yours. Keep pushing here, bud. That's turn 4, spotter. Turn 4's clear.
Streaming 4-in-1 Mosaic.
Inside. We'll push the fast left. Be smart here.
Live pit crew chatter. Riding shotgun from green flag to checkered. That's powerful. Download IndyCar 13 now, only from Verizon.
Introducing a car company that's never made a single car. We took the power of a 9-year-old V8 and gave it the impressive handling of Firestone's Destination tire. Now, moms agree. Every milk run feels like a victory lap. So whatever you drive a Firestone.
Grand Prix of Baltimore presented by SRT continues live here on NBCSN, and you watch a scrap between Tony Kanaan, the Indy 500 winner this year, and Oriol Serbia in the Panther Racing Machine, and they are fighting over 6th place at the moment. This is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and that is Pagenaud, Dixon, Kimball, and Ray Hall at the moment. We understand Charlie Kimball's coming in shortly, but while we're away, Justin Wilson, you may have seen, had trouble.
And that's that front lockup we've talked about, Wally. Yeah. Those tires lock, you're not going to make the corner.
It's a real bumpy section of the racetrack there, so you're going in, you're trying to get the car slowed down as much as possible. Very rough.
It's interesting to compare because
earlier, who had that crash in qualifying, was forced all the way back, and he's been working his way through the field. He's been one of the biggest movers in the field. Here he is, the 4-time open wheel champ, is leading the race on that pit stop rotation. Had a good race going here last year and was forced to retire. And boy, he has been one of the guys, Wally, who has, I want to say enjoyed, he's endured some wild rides over the chicane.
Yeah, and these guys seem like they've been knocking on the door this year. They've been up there and they've been running really competitive, but they just haven't been able to put the string of finishes together. Here you see the Penske guys, power just went a little bit too long. It was on top of that air hose, and that cost them, 4 or 5 seconds.
interesting. They've made no adjustment, on the outside rear. That's the way they're going to do it.
The other dangled there and actually sat on the wing for a second. Look at this battle right here. Dixon wants it.
This is awesome. Will Power ran wide. Dixon tried to go to the inside. Will looks like he's got his hands full while Dixon is hooked up. You ride with Dixon.
You cannot pass on the outside.
But you can look.
This is good stuff.
I hope somebody makes me eat those words. I'd love to see it, but that is very tough. Now right here, got to stay close. Tap through the chicane here. Be back hard on the power. See if you can get a run. Doesn't look like he's going to be close enough. Let's see if he has a go. He's on the push to pass. Both of them are.
Look at this. He is looking racy. Remember, this is one of our championship contenders.
Maybe a crossover.
They're clear.
Tried.
Ooh, he's going to have a great run here. Look at Power. Got sideways on the power.
And all of a sudden, Graham Rahal is mixing it up with Scott Dixon and Will Power. What a relief for the young man and his team.
Oh, he got through there pretty good.
It's sideways into the corner. If I lock my fronts, I can't turn.
What a phenomenal battle we're seeing between Will Power, Scott Dixon, Graham Rahal, Oriol Serbia at the back taking the fight to Simon Pajot. Meanwhile, up front, it's Sebastian Bourdais. See you in a moment.
We'll never know if somehow, in some way, we can affect the outcome of a game. But when the clock's winding down and everything's on the line, we all believe.
My wife, is she alive? For now. If you want it back, follow my instructions precisely. Drive. Rule number 1. There is a package at the bank. Steal it and get it out of the city. Rule number 2. The police will be after you. Don't get caught. Rule number 3. You have 2 hours. I'm coming after you. You hear me? The clock is ticking.
Getaway, rated PG-13, now playing.
A man and his truck, and a broken fence, and a lost calf, and the heart to search for as long as it takes, and the truck that lets him search for as long as it takes. The all-new Chevy Silverado, the most fuel-efficient V8 in a pickup, strong for all the roads ahead.
The Baltimore Ravens are Super Bowl champions!
The Super Bowl champion Ravens take on the Broncos in a playoff rematch. Thursday night, it's back to football, only on NBC.
2 great races on one network. Formula One racing lines up with the Italian Grand Prix live next Sunday. Then, it's IndyCar Shell Pennzoil Grand Prix of Houston live Saturday, October 5th, all on the NBC Sports Network.
What are you? Maybe the top 5 or 6, and he only has 1 stop like the other guys.
Exactly. Look at the damage on Vautier's car. The Schmidt-Peterson machine. He's got front, rear. It's all happening for the rookie who led every lap here last year to win the Firestone Indy Lights race. So he likes this circuit. He does well at this circuit. And he's on the same strategy as the man who just pitted, Sebastian Bourdais. We got drama here. This is for Stefan Wilson.
Oh, boy. That is right at turn 6. Turn 7, excuse me, right before pit entrance. And I think right after pit entrance, and I think he just overcooked it there. You look at the marbles laid down. Wow.
Third full course caution, do we see? There's local yellow, obviously. But are we going full course here? More than likely. So here comes Vautier. He's the first in. There's going to be a scramble here. With 35 laps to go here in Baltimore. Here's Saavedra.
Second stop for Sebastian Saavedra, who is running in second. He's still going to need 1 more stop unless there's a lot of yellow. Good run, though, so far.
Tristan Vautier is taking the opportunity to get a new nose, but not while this goes on. There's a lot at the front as well, Marty.
What a great move for our championship leader. He also had the advantage of hitting pit road, but they have a problem on pit road. They did not get the right front tight. They have to put it back up in the air. Now he leaves pit road. He'll lose a little bit of track position, but still an advantage. They did get to pit road before the caution came out, guys.
So under our second full course caution of the day. Who else is coming on pit road? Let's see. Here's Kimball.
Charlie Kimball hitting pit road. The car very good. No changes. Once again, he'll put on those red tires. You see right in front of him, Ryan Hunter-Reay. Terrific stop by the Andretti guys. A slow stop for Charlie Kimball. And the right front couldn't get that tire on. So a slow stop for those guys as well. And there goes Justin Wilson and Marco Andretti leaving pit road as well.
And those are costly stops when they come in there that tight on the racetrack. It's just, boy.
Penske stop for championship leader Elio Castro-Neves. Let's take a look.
It looks to me like the right front air gun gets jammed, and then they...
What a great move for our championship leader. He also had...
Wow.
They dropped the jack before the wheel was on it.
And guys, on the radio, Elio Castroneves said, I am so sorry, Doug. Talking to his right front tire changer, he way missed his marks, went too far forward. They had to regroup from there, and that's where that stop went awry. But again, should have that advantage of getting to pit road before it was closed.
And those boxes are, I think you mentioned, or somebody mentioned earlier, they're pretty tight down there.
Yeah.
These boxes are very tight at this racetrack.
And of course, his teammate Power had the same issue going long on a stop.
So that is the stranded Stefan Wilson in the second Dale Coyne entry.
And he's going to maybe get back in. He's looking at that right front. You can see him getting his belts ready, and I don't know if that's for a tow-in or if he looks at his suspension and thinks, you know what?
I might be able to get it going.
Might be able to get it going. These cars, as we've talked about many times this year, much stronger than an Indy Lights car in a contact situation like that, which is where Stefan Wilson last raced.
We had 7 full course cautions last week. This is only number 2 of the day as they rescue the Nirvana T entry for Dale Coyne Racing. We'll be back.
A warm, muggy day here in Baltimore, but a beautiful day. So far, no rain. We thought we might have rain showers, but so far, none in the area. We talked about Elio Castroneves' pit stop just a moment ago. You see him riding under caution right now, and we talked about him apologizing to his crew. They've been fighting all day long. Here is a replay of what happened. The right front tire changer is Doug Snyder. You'll see the car. Watch the helmet physically run into him. It actually was his ankle, and that's what caused Elio to miss his marks on that stop. They did get the stop completed. I did talk to Doug Snyder. He said, I'm fine. I'm going to make the next stop without a problem. He does have a little ice pack on his left ankle, though. He will be fine, Jan.
With Jay Penske, and Jay, you're on the radio with Sebastian Bourdais. Just a disaster in qualifying, but now you've had a great rebound. What's the strategy now going forward?
Well, I think we've been a bit fortunate that the yellows come.
We listen in as he talks to Sebastian.
So I think we've had a good car all weekend. It was unfortunate that in qualifying we got stuck there in the back, but the car's been fast all weekend. The True Car and McAfee effort is so good, and we're back on the same strategy as the leaders, and we can go green all the way. So we're looking very good here.
Wow, that's good news for Sebastian Bourdais. And again, a huge crash in qualifying that really set them back.
Well, and to hear from Jay Penske say there we're in the lead and we're on the same pit stop cycle as the leaders, he's actually in a far better position. He's got 8 more laps worth of fuel in his car than what Will Power has. So he is. So it will be interesting. First full course caution was Ed Carpenter, nosed it into the tyre wall, and then at the end of that yellow, Luca Filippi had a small fire aboard his Barracuda Racing Honda. That had a very big effect on that first yellow, and then this one for Stefan Wilson. So coming to the end of our second full course caution, hopefully on the other side of this break, we'll go racing. Grand Prix of Baltimore right after this.
For 185 years, Irwin has been making professional tools for professional tradesmen. Today, Irwin Tools salutes those who build this nation with their bare hands. Join Irwin in celebrating National Tradesman Day to say thanks for a job well done.
A woman and her truck. A woman, her truck, and a 1,200-pound passenger. And 2 bodies with 1 mind. And a ribbon that goes on her wall, not in her hair. The all-new Chevy Silverado, with the best available towing in its class. Strong for all the roads ahead.
The command has been given. Row 1, let me know. Row 1, on.
Live in-car cameras.
Those cars rolling.
4-in-1 mosaic. Having your heart race as fast as theirs.
Here we go. Very good for green.
That's powerful. Download IndyCar 13 now, only from Verizon.
I like to golf all morning. That's why I eat Belvita at breakfast. It's made with delicious ingredients, then carefully baked to release steady energy that lasts. You're golfing now, buddy. I got it. Belvita, steady energy all morning long.
And now introducing new Belvita soft-baked breakfast biscuits. Made with delicious ingredients and whole grains, they'll give you 20% of your daily fiber and a new way to get nutritious morning energy. Available in mixed berry and oats and chocolate.
Your car may have been born in 1997, but give it a new set of Firestone tires, and it could feel like it's fresh off the lot. Whatever you drive, Drive a Firestone.
Sorry sight for our defending race winner and defending series champion. You would have seen it at home. We're back here live now. Ryan Hunter-Reay stationary on track on the streets of downtown Baltimore on this Inner Harbor circuit. And the reports while we were away, Wally, radio transmission of maybe stuck in gear, just can't get going.
Exact same thing happened to his teammate Marco Andretti in practice yesterday. So, Marty, are they trying to figure out what they have? Is it like a battery problem? Is it that simple?
Well, yeah, Michael Andretti's got about 5 guys around him right now trying to figure this out. And remember, there's a championship play here, too. Ryan Hunter-Reay, our 3rd player in the championship. You see the extra battery they do have out. They're going to put one in when he can get to pit road, but they can't get, there's no volts in the car, so they can't even get it started with the starter that the Homatro safety team has brought out to them. So they're going to have to actually get towed back to pit road and then try and get the thing cranked up. But it's been a terrible day for these guys. Fell back as far as 22nd. They don't have a bad car. Made their way back into the top 10, but trying to figure out how to fix this problem.
The problem they're having with the tow-in is they can't get it in neutral.
Can you
problem
these things?
You can, but you have to have electricity.
And they had that problem earlier, Towns. Remember, it went into anti-stall, and they couldn't get it out of first gear. You had to put it in neutral to get the thing to crank the first time.
And you've got a hand clutch, and the hand clutch is electronic. So there's no way to get that car
dragging it.
You'd be dragging it, yeah.
And guys, he's now going to get out of the car. Just radioed to the guys. He's going to physically get out of the car. So this may be the end of the day for Ryan Hunter-Reay.
And that's going to require a flatbed, and the number of yellow laps that any of these guys needed to stretch their fuel window, like Bourdais, just plays right into their hands.
Helping Sebastian Bourdais massively. And look at the frustration on Ryan Hunter-Reay. The championship contender, it's getting farther and farther away from him. And his teammate and his team leader's son, Marco Andretti, is only 8 points behind him in the championship. It could be really bad. He could lose 3rd place in this championship right here today, depending on where Andretti finishes. And the attrition rate today here has been unusually high for IZOD IndyCar Series races. This means Sato out, Jake's out, Filippi out, Franchitti out, and Ryan Hunter-Reay. And he is devastated.
So hard to win a second championship just based on the competition level, not to mention issues like this completely out of his control.
All right, so the discussion goes on there at Andretti. Let's find out more from the pits. Here's Kevin.
Many takers here trying to take this opportunity off of the reds, on with the blacks right behind me. You see Ed Carpenter getting out in front. Also, E.J. Viso just came down a moment ago, and we'll see Tony Kanaan in a moment, who earlier changed a front wing. That's why he went from 6th back to 19th. But Kanaan now is essentially back on the same strategy as everyone else that has to stop, but a lot are trying to make it the rest of the way.
Thanks, Kev. Changing gear, SN kicks off the college football season with a clash between cross-state rivals. It's Delaware versus Delaware State, and that's Saturday at 3:30 Eastern right here on NBC SN. It's a good look on the way, all the way up the front straight and towards the chicane. Been an interesting day. We're far from done. We are on lap 45 of this 75-lap race. It's going to make an interesting end to the race. And I wonder how our rookie, the only rookie in this year's championship, is placed. Well, he's in the top 10 at the moment. He won the Firestone Indy Lights Championship last year, and it's been a real delight to have Tristan Vautier in the IZOD IndyCar Series this year.
When you're like a 6 or 7 years old kid, all you see on TV is F1 and Michael Schumacher winning, so you want to go to F1, right? Because you don't know any better. But looking at some drivers moving to USA, and then you start getting interested into it. Okay, what is it? Like, it just took me a first flight to USA and a first test in Star Mazda to realize I loved it. One of the guys, when you were a French driver, that you would look at who managed to succeed in USA, it was first Sebastian Bourdais, then Simon came and succeeded, and for sure it's one of those guys who pushed me to make the move, just seeing them succeed so well. So I wouldn't say it was like my idol, but for sure a bit of an inspiration. Our long-term goal is to convert the whole team to full-time French-speaking people, but it's tough to kind of focus on the racing and that at the same time, so at the moment only a few words.
And we have a fellow countryman leading this race. Frenchman Sébastien Bourdais is the race leader. 3 Frenchmen in this race. Not only Tristan Vautier, Sébastien Bourdais, but also Simon Pagenaud as well, and 3 incredibly talented drivers. And it just shows and it underscores the international allure of the IZOD IndyCar Championship, with drivers like Luca Filippi coming over and competing. He is loving his time in America, and he'll be there the whole weekend at Houston at the doubleheader on the street course there. And then, of course, J.R. Hildebrand will take over the machine to finish up the season for Barracuda Racing. So we remain under caution while they clean the track and get things ready to go. There is a very, very disappointed champion, Ryan Hunter-Reay. No win in Baltimore for RHR this year.
Something big is coming. Big and powerful. Big and beautiful. Introducing the Fiat 500L. Big enough for 4 passengers. Or even 5. The 4-door Fiat 500L.
My parents always wanted me to be a doctor or a stockbroker.
What do you think?
Sounds awful. Who's that?
It's Niki Lauda.
To be a champion, it takes discipline.
I heard about this thing with Niki.
The killing is out there.
It's over, superstar. More powerful than everything is the will to win.
Do you think you can cope with the pressure?
Trust me. Rush, a Ron Howard film, rated R.
Ultra-rugged phones from Sprint. Buy one, get 4 free and $150 credit when you switch your business line to Sprint, the pioneers in push-to-talk.
Give me your street circuits, your ovals. Give me your road courses and your cathedrals of speed. Give me drivers who live to put it all on the line, and cars unlike any other. Because this is America, and here we race IndyCar.
Only on the NBC Sports Network.
Back in Baltimore, you see the field still under yellow as we work this caution, and in the shadow of Camden Yards sits our champion last year and the guy who won this race last year, Ryan Hunter-Reay. At the end of the day, what put you out?
Well, to begin with, we had a anti-stall mechanism trigger, but it didn't work as it was supposed to because I couldn't put the clutch in and keep going. So that dropped us to last, and then we had to start getting creative, using up a lot of overtake, passing a lot of cars. It was fun while it lasted. We were moving up, but in the end, we don't know what it was. Something with the power in the car, something electronic, just died all of a sudden. Battery voltage looked good, and then just completely died. So no idea. It's just heartbreaking when you know how hard these guys work. You know, we've had a pretty good season. I mean, 2 wins and 3 poles, and now that we see the championship slipping away, it's frustrating. But can't thank DHL, Chevy, and these Andretti Autosport guys for sticking behind us.
Tough for our reigning champ, and a little bit developing news lead. We have learned as we get ready to go green, Helio Castroneves' last stop is officially under review for hitting equipment on pit road.
Whoa, look at these guys. Look at these guys down into turn 1. Sébastien Bourdais. Dixon was brilliant on the restart there. Oh, and he turns. Rahal turns Dixon in turn 1.
Yeah, but Dixon didn't give Rahal
the track's
a whole
blocked.
lot of room. Yeah, they're
track
blocked
is
there.
blocked.
Dixon gets going. Track is blocked at turn 1. And if you didn't hear what Marty said at the end of his report, it was at car number 3. There it is right there. Championship leader Helio Castroneves. His last pit stop is under review by race officials. Newgarden is blocked. Hinchcliffe stationary.
And we're hearing that race control is going to black flag Castroneves for the previous stop. So, how quickly things can turn here. Now, you were just making the point with Graham that you thought Dixon should have just kept the door open there.
Well, I'm not sure Dixon knew he was there, but Rahal was. And I think Dixon really swept down when he went through that corner, and I don't believe he had any idea Rahal was there.
Yeah.
Wow. We have had it all here in Baltimore today. Watch this restart. Scott Dixon in the red car. Here comes Graham Rahal on the inside.
What a great view. I mean, Dixon at this point, I think you're right, Wally. I don't think he had any idea. And if you're Graham, you got to back out. You got to.
Well, you can back out, but I think he was backed out as much as he could be. There wasn't a whole lot further you could back out on that deal.
Look at all these smart guys that are just going to the outside to take the overshoot.
On board with Oriol Servia. How does it look from his view?
I mean, Rahal was about going as slow as you could go.
He was
scrubbing the wall.
I mean, Graham was doing everything he could to stay away from him. He was right up against the wall. He can't get any further over. But I think you're right. I don't think Dixon had any idea. You know what I think? Dixon decided at the last second to try to cross under and square up the exit. I don't think Graham expected that. So purely a racing thing. I hope they don't review this as avoiding.
Yeah, I don't put any blame on either one of those guys there. Although about 5 or 6 of these guys may agree with us.
And at the end of the day, there wasn't too much harm done for Scott Dixon. He was able to flick spin it and get going again while the rest of the track was jammed and blocked. And a couple of different onboard angles for you as well as we head down there into turn 1 on that restart. This is Helio Castroneves.
And you know, when things start to accord, everything backs up. There's not a whole lot you can do in this situation. When this happens in front of you in a tight corner like that,
Charlie Kimball's view,
there's no place to go.
No.
There's no exit here.
And the problem is your foot is off the brake and on the throttle, ready to exit, ready to get a jump on the guy in front of you.
Now, that was a good exit.
That was smart there from Charlie Kimball.
Yeah.
And here he is. Marty, tell us more.
Well, for our championship leader, Helio Castroneves, things have certainly gone south. They're going to get the black flag here for hitting someone on pit road just a moment ago. We told you hit Doug Snyder, his right front tire changer. You hear John Erickson. So here's the plan right now. They're going to come down pit road. Pit road is closed right now. They're going to change the nose only. That's all they can do on this stop right now. Then the next stop, they have to actually serve the penalty. They're going to come, put tires and fuel in on that stop. No matter what, kind of not a big penalty because they're going to be in the back of the field anyway after that spin already. So Helio will have to work his way through the field. This should be a lot of fun to watch, Lee.
That was John Erickson you saw there on the pit box communicating to Helio Castroneves. There's that damage on the front wing. Marty mentioned he'll need to come in and get that fixed, get that addressed.
But that's when these cautions, like last week, the cautions kind of breed cautions. We had like 8 or 9 of cautions, and Castroneves was in the middle of it all the time. So, boy, those are just a lot of bullets that you have to dodge when you have to do these restarts.
Well, Graham Rahal's going to give us his view of how it happened down into turn 1.
So I'm on board here with Graham with you guys at home, and watch Graham at the last second just kind of pokes his nose here. I think he thought Dixon was going to stay wide on the line he was on and follow Bourdais through. Again, just
rolling in there. I mean,
new front nose for Helio Castroneves. That's done.
Clear out. All right, we're going to pit again this time. Pits are now open. We're going to come in for fuel and tires.
That is the voice.
Wait for the previous pit stop. So we might as well put good tires and fuel on this thing.
And there you have it. Common sense, of course. Highly practiced. If we've got to come in anyway, we may as well add some fuel and fresh tires and give you the best possible chance for the last stanza of this race to really attack. There's Scott Dixon, who only lost a couple of positions, but we do need to say that we have heard from race control that this turn 1 incident is under review.
Well, Lee, what's going to be interesting is what happens when the track gets blocked, because the track's going to get blocked now, and all these cars are going to go around and pass cars in the runoff. The first guy to go is Kimball, I believe, and there goes Vizo, there goes Wilson, and now you've got all these cars bunched up that are stalled, and all of these guys are going to zoom around and pass. Now, Jan, I believe you attended the driver's meeting. I think this was discussed, wasn't it?
It was, and what they said was that they will go yellow and then they will look at the timing strip, the last timing line that they cross. They'll take the order. They'll reorder the cars based on the previous timing line, and then subtracting those who were involved in the incident, they go to the back of the pack.
Which means Dixon goes to the back of the pack.
Correct.
But then why? Because
he's involved in the incident.
Well, so too was Graham Rahal.
Yeah.
Okay, but all I'm saying is those guys were
involved in the incident.
No, they weren't involved. They were blocked.
Cars.
The track was blocked. You can't be involved in the incident if the track was blocked and you stopped.
Well, but
the guys that caused the incident were Rahal and Dixon.
So now for Simon Pagenaud, he was also stopped. He also came and made some slight contact right at the same time that we see James Hinchcliffe. Now he's going to go for a front nose because he definitely has front wing damage as Joseph Newgarden peels out after his service.
Yeah, the only point I was trying to make, Wally, is there's not just one incident of contact. There's 3 or 4 cars that run into each other trying to slow down. Are they part of the incident, or is that just...
I would say no. I mean, I would say that they were they got boxed up. They had no place to go. They ran into each other. The guys that were involved in the incident, in my opinion, is Rahal and Dixon. So we'll just see how they call it.
Here we go.
Yeah, so... being a race official, Wally, a thankless job, wouldn't you say? I mean, I don't know how to call it. It really is. Okay, there's contact with Hinch, there's contact with Vautier, there's contact. But again, to your point, it wasn't the starting incident. I mean, all these guys, there's contact.
So there's been plenty of pit stops going on. There's been a reshuffle. We will reorganize and restart. Grand Prix of Baltimore continues.
We know some people just can't leave things be. They wonder how much faster this thing could go. What if it weighed less or turned sharper? They know that things can always be better. We count ourselves among those people. Introducing quicker, sleeker, smarter. Best Civic Si yet, made possible by Honda.
Honda, proud partner of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
Your car. It's been your wingman, dining room, and best friend. Baby maker, and baby soother. At Pennzoil, we know it doesn't matter what you do in your car, it only matters what you put in it. That's why Pennzoil is designed to give you unsurpassed engine protection, so you can protect your car and the memories made in it. Save 50 cents per gallon on Shell fuel with a 5-quart purchase of Pennzoil Synthetics. Make it a Pennzoil change.
Inside yours. Keep pushing here, bud. That's turn 4, spotter. Turn 4's clear.
Streaming 4-in-1 Mosaic.
Inside. We'll push the fast left. Be smart here.
Live pit crew chatter. Riding shotgun from green flag to checkered. That's powerful. Download IndyCar 13 now, only from Verizon.
Faces of 2013, and could this man here, Sebastian Bourdais, be our 11th different winner this year? If he is, that will tie the open wheel record in American racing. Pretty interesting. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition for the Dragon Racing driver, the 4-time open wheel champion in the Champ Car Series. Look at this for a sight. Baltimore has really turned it on now for the third year in a row. Last year there was mixed weather conditions. This year it has been great. The locals, the IndyCar fans of Maryland have just been wonderful. And to race right in the heart of the city, right alongside the inner harbour there, has just been wonderful. We've enjoyed some nice nights out at dinner, walking the streets. The weather's been beautiful. A huge thank you to all of the volunteers and Andretti Sports Marketing, the promoter of the event, the town, the city, the councils, everybody who has supported this event for this year and the previous two. We hope to be coming here for many years to come. They were waiting on some news about perhaps a new deal for the Grand Prix of Baltimore to continue for the next few years. Fingers crossed on that one, because it certainly makes for interesting racing.
Car 7, pace car speed. Car 7, pace car speed.
Not far away from going racing now to take this one home. It's going to be a 23-lap sprint.
If that happens and this thing goes green, your third-place finisher could be E.J. Vizo.
Wow. At a weekend that has been one of his toughest of the year.
I mean, amazing. That's a great example of don't quit, hang in there, stay with it, keep fighting. I mean, he looked hopelessly slow there 20 laps ago.
Here we go. We're packing up for a restart. Let's see if we can keep it clean this time. Let's go. Dixon on the inside.
Oh, wow.
Will Power chops across in front of Scott Dixon. And the championship contenders' day is over.
What?
Chopped across him.
World.
Holy cow. That was about as blatant as it gets.
Wow.
That was... We got to see that again. I don't want to comment just yet, but he just...
Well, I think he went in for the block, but I think he had no idea he was there.
Oh, that was weird.
That was severe. That was alarming, and that's the face of Mike Hull, the managing director of Chip Ganassi Racing.
And, I mean, I can't believe the irony and I mean, Elio having the pit stop issues, these two guys running into each other in practice. Yeah. I mean, this is just...
About the car, Scott, tell us about it.
This is Shakespearean.
And guys, remember their pits are right beside each other, so a couple of stairs were shot across the way as well, so this is not over, I don't think.
Well, if tensions weren't high enough last weekend, they've just been elevated to a whole new level. Here's the replay. Look to the left of your screen.
So you'll see Dixon shoot out right there to the left, and I mean...
Oh, you know what? I think Power was going to pop on Bourdais. There's no way he wouldn't block that aggressively. I think he had a run on Bourdais. He didn't realize Dixon had popped on him, and that's just a terrible set of circumstances for everybody. That's a chain reaction.
Yep.
Dixon pops, and then Power just pops to make a run on Bourdais. Look at the marbles.
Well, but it's true for look from that angle. It's like, holy cow.
And what is the luck of Castroneves after a tough day in your championship competition?
The two closest to you in the championship,
And how about Dixon? I mean, he did nothing wrong here again.
And boy, Dixon had a great run, too.
I mean, this guy's had the worst luck in the last few weeks.
So, under caution, yet again, Will Power is on pit road.
And Lee, the right rear suspension pretty much completely gone for Will Power, and Will Power just said on the radio to Tim Cindric, "I'm completely sorry, guys. I just lost it in a straight line." That's what he said to Tim Cindric just now, and he apologized to his guys, said he lost it in a straight line and apologized to his guys. When you guys talk about Elio Castroneves, you think about his teammate. Remember Mid-Ohio? We all thought Scott Dixon was going to gain points there. He didn't. We thought Scott Dixon was going to gain points at Sonoma. He didn't. And once again, it seems like Elio Castroneves will come out championship-wise, the guy looking really good today. You see Scott Dixon trying to clean up the mess back there.
Marty, I can understand Power saying I lost it in a straight line, but I don't think he realizes that Dixon was right there, and he probably doesn't realize that it was the contact that got him sideways. He's going too fast with too much downforce to lose it at that point.
Yeah, if you look at it, like Townsend pointed out, Power had a run on Bourdais, and he was taking that last second to make the move. And when you're in this position, Townsend, you don't look at the rear view mirror when you're on a restart like this. Yeah, I'm not even sure you're right. I don't think Dixon, he even knows he made contact.
Yep.
He made that pull. You get right up to the back of the guy, you make that last minute pull. I don't even think he knows he hit Dixon.
You might, I mean, Marty, if you're still there, you might ask Tim if Tim Cindric, if Will knows that he was clipped from behind.
I'll get that in, Townsend. There's a lot going on down here right now. They're trying to figure out if they can get the car fixed to get him back in the race, number one. They don't want him to get out, obviously, if they can get this car fixed. But obviously, if they're going to get it fixed, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of work.
I just hate to see a racing driver sitting there thinking he just lost it on the straightaway. When it
and even when we saw that first view, when he pulled out to the right, I mean, that looked, from that angle, it was like, holy cow, that wasn't an intentional block. But when you see the shot from the back and how close he was to Bourdais, he was making a move on him.
Bourdais pulled out and just turned hard right.
No, he's
I think he still doesn't know, guys, and they have not offered it up because he's still on the radio saying, I can't believe I did that. We're up in fourth or fifth gear.
But does he know he's been hit from behind? I still don't know that he actually understands the
He still said, I don't know what happened, Towns. He just said on the red, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I heard that, but
he obviously doesn't know that he got into the Dixon car. That's what put him in the wall.
And we all know Will Power so well, and just looking at his eyes, looking at Tim Cindric,
and guys, real quick,
sorrow.
Tim Cindric telling him on the radio now, oh, okay, Will Power says, I get it. He didn't know he hit Dixon. You guys were right on. He said, that's why I turned right. I had no idea.
Thanks for clearing that up, Marty.
Now it makes sense to Will Power. What a wild day in Baltimore, and we're not done yet. Stick around. We are back, and some interesting hand gestures and communication between Scott Dixon and Will Power. How much can Scott Dixon take in 2 weekends? He and Ryan Hunter-Reay have watched their championship chances evaporate. And check this out. These two had contact earlier in the weekend, and it ended with smiles and with Will apologising because Will hit him in practice. But I think once...
But when you're sitting in Dixon's seat, and that's all he's thinking is that looked like it was on purpose.
Yeah, sure.
And that's why he's angry, because that's the way he thinks right now.
Well, I think you just get to a point where you're just like,
enough's enough.
So many weird accidents, so many weird things. I mean, how could it be? But I can't fault Will there. I understand what he was seeing.
After looking at the replays, absolutely.
All right, Marty's there. Marty?
Well, we'll try to get a word with Scott Dixon, talking it over with Chip Ganassi. He was clearly upset. He went to one of the head IndyCar officials and had a chat with him. Scott, what did you have to say to Rocket?
I was just annoyed that it clearly states every time that they'll bring the car back to the pits unless it's 10 laps to go. We're fighting for every point at the moment. There's a little bit of suspension damage, but definitely something we can repair. So I have no idea why they haven't brought it back to the pits. But that's just Bo making it up as he goes every time. There's just absolutely no consistency. Ray Hall takes me out. Doesn't seem like any penalty. And then the 12 car just slams us on the wall. So, man, it's been a rough couple of weeks.
So you were not upset about the contact. You're upset because IndyCar will not bring your car to pit road.
I'm upset about that, but I'm also, I'm upset about the 12. I don't know what he was thinking. I was clearly alongside, and then he just turned straight into me. If you're pulling in that direction, you're going to see that mirror. You can see a car clearly in it. So it was a total, in-reaction situation, and I'll talk to Will afterwards. I don't want to get, say something that I'm going to regret later.
All right, Scott Dixon with his thoughts on that, clearly indicating he felt like Will Power blocking him on that move, and also upset with IndyCar because he would like his car back to pit road because they feel like they can get back into this race.
Ready to go racing, Graham Rahal on the inside, Sebastian Bourdais the outside, Servia behind Rahal, and Kimball in the mix there as well. Some late lockups and contact with Bourdais. Servia hits Bourdais.
Oh, no.
These guys...
Is this Groundhog Day?
Yes. Yes, it is.
I feel like Scott Dixon right now. It's just like, come on. It's just one thing after another.
All right, there you go. There you go. Nice job, Charlie. Nice job.
it's my listen. If you're sitting back here and forth, these top 3 guys are got to stop, right?
Rahal has to stop, and Serbia has to stop.
That's why Bourdais wasn't going to race Rahal hard. He was just trying to get through there because he has the race won.
Right.
And then he gets put from behind.
Jan?
Now, just prior to this restart, Graham Rahal's engineer, Neil Fife, had run down and talked to the team of Jay Penske. Now, Graham Rahal, this is going to work for them. They have to make a pit stop. So while he stops, the reason he has to stop, they have never run the red sidewall Firestones. That is a requirement. So he's going to lose track position, but this is a big break for Graham Rahal. So to finish the story, as they tell him to hustle,
Go, Charlie's coming.
they had spoke with Bourdais' team saying, we do not want to race to the death because we know we have to stop again. So that's why Bourdais was easing up on him. Another person who had to make a pit stop was Serbia. Of course, Serbia, the one getting into Bourdais.
You got all that?
Well, see, that's kind of what I was wondering. Is
exactly.
Why are you guys barreling down in there when you know a lot of these guys in front of you are going to be pitting? So
here's what happened, I think, with Bourdais. Watch Graham. Graham breaks really, really deep, locks up the front tires. Graham's right here. You're going to see him lock up. Now Bourdais can't turn in, and all of a sudden Bourdais like, finally I can get to the corner, but he's got Serbia up the inside, and then that just leads to another big pack up.
This is what it'll look like from Oriol Serbia's view.
Now Serbia's watching Graham. He thinks he's got room, but he locks up as well.
Locked up too.
You still want to have that front brake bias, Wally?
Maybe not that much.
Here it is from overhead.
He was able to get the back of the car spun around very quickly. He only lost a couple of spots.
Actually, Serbia just didn't lock it up. He couldn't turn it.
God, you got to feel for Bourdais. I mean, all he had to do is get through that corner.
That's what I was saying earlier. These guys have been knocking on the door of a great finish.
Watch Serbia's left front right there. Going to lock up at the last second. He can't turn.
And that's why he nailed it, because he could not only stop, but he couldn't turn.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the guy who told us this morning that he was horrible this weekend, there's the response from the Dragon team. The driver who told us he was horrible this morning is leading the race. Marco Andretti, who has just stayed out of trouble, kept his nose clean for the majority of the day, is in the lead of this race with 18 laps to go.
And with plenty of fuel on board to make it to the end. And keep in mind, his father's also the promoter of the Baltimore Grand Prix. If we would have told Marco when we saw him this morning, we stopped him on a scooter, that, hey man, you're going to hang in there and just work your way to the front, I mean, he would have laughed. He said we have no chance.
Yes, he did. He was pretty down in the dumps about it. Here's Saavedra. He was another one that...
Let's go. See if we can beat these guys out. See if we can beat the leader out here.
Not going to happen.
It was close. That was very close.
Well, he thinks he did. So, I'm not sure he's going to get away with that.
I'm not sure which blend line that was.
He thought he said, get out and beat the leader.
Yeah. I think the blend line would be right at the end of pit speed limit, which is at the end of the straight part of pit lane, but perhaps he's privy to some information.
So the twists and turns of this race have been fascinating, and we add another chapter to it. Take a look at this.
Your blend line, I believe, right there, and he's one car, but he was close.
Kevin, tell us more. Tony Kanaan, who starts his 212th consecutive race today, is in second place.
Yeah, looky there. He had a good run, worked his way up to 6th. Then he had some wing damage, had to change it, make an unscheduled pit stop. But now he is back in the mix. I don't know about Marco's situation, but Kanaan definitely, even without this yellow, was good to go to the rest of the way, running full ridge. So Tony Kanaan still might pull out his 17th career win in consecutive start number 212 today.
Yeah, and Kevin, definitely the day is not over. There's a lot yet to come. And the question will be raised again, what about the reordering for those people who took the shortcut and picked up positions? And Townsend, I will say that when I ran you through what they said in the driver's meeting earlier, that's how they were going to reorder under a red. So they've obviously chosen to take a slightly different interpretation for when it stays full course caution. But at least for a red and a track blocked, you can hear in the background that is race control trying to reorder the cars, and they're doing it slightly differently than locking it down at a timeline and then reordering those
those who took the shortcut.
You know, we spend some time this year, and we're looking at Marco Andretti's wing damage. Get to that in a second. I just wanted to say we spent some time this year giving the race officials a hard time. This is when we thank God for those race officials, because this is a mess to work through the running order. Marco Andretti is your leader. We think he's got enough fuel to make it to the finish, but does he have enough front downforce, Wally? That is the left front wing completely worked.
Marty?
Well, Diff, if you look at the running order on the top of our screen, it'll show our championship leader, Helio Castroneves, in 6th. The problem with that is, you see him on screen right there, they still haven't served their drive-through penalty because we didn't go a full lap under green. So they actually, when we go back to green, have to serve that drive-through penalty. They'll come back out. They should restart 14th or be about 14th in line when they get back out on the track. But nonetheless, looking very good championship-wise for Helio Castroneves today.
And looking really good championship-wise, folks, if you've just joined us, is because closest to him in the championship, Scott Dixon.
Job defending your real estate there.
For the majority of the year, Marco Andretti has been the picture of consistency. Wilson goes around. Hinchcliffe involved in that. Rahal up. Can they get going, or is the track going to be blocked?
Well, there's a lane
like
up the middle.
Hinchcliffe's has got his hands on his helmet, so he must be stalled, and we're going to probably get another full. Yep. Caution.
He's got it in reverse. Whoa, Servia's. Oh, I hope Wilson knows he's there. Wilson's got it in reverse. He's backing the car up, so the engine must still be running. There he goes.
Carpenter can get going, and Hinchcliffe is the only one who needs help. I think in every track blockage, poor old Charlie Kimball has been the innocent victim and has had to weave his way through multiple cars blocking the racing line through there. So the GoDaddy machine of James Hinchcliffe is the only one stuck. This is how it all went down. The view from Graham Rahal.
Yeah, once you commit like that.
So that was Bourdais into the back of Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Graham Rahal trying to push Hinchcliffe out of the way. And here, as you said, Lee, here's Kimball. And you hear the revs go up. What he's trying to do is dump the clutch and throw the back of the car around. Watch Bourdais just barely gets Wilson, but certainly enough to spin him around.
I'll show you what it looked like from overhead. Watch for the 5th car in line. There's the tag up there.
Guys, we might be running out of front wings at some point here.
So Hinchcliffe gets going, but we are still under yellow and laps rapidly running out in the Grand Prix of Baltimore. Let's finish it off when we come back.
A man and his truck, and a broken fence, and a lost calf, and the heart to search for as long as it takes, and the truck that lets him search for as long as it takes. The all-new Chevy Silverado, the most fuel-efficient V8 in a pickup, strong for all the roads ahead.
Your car may have been born in 1997, but give it a new set of Firestone tires, and it could feel like it's fresh off the lot. Whatever you drive a Firestone.
Golden Corral just made the weekend better than ever again. Our $12.99 premium prime rib and shrimp weekend is back. It's endless prime rib, our best jumbo butterfly shrimp, and our new bone-in catfish and catfish fillets. It's our premium prime rib and shrimp weekend only at Golden Corral.
Guess who's home early?
Hey, hon. Sit down. We'll make it a foursome.
September 3rd, grab your friends and go to hell. Diablo 3, coming to consoles September 3rd, rated M for mature.
I'm gonna put my pants back on.
Get exclusive items only on PlayStation 3.
Hey, this is Ted Lasso. I'm the new head coach for Tottenham Spurs. Yeah, I was wondering if I could speak to the Queen, please. Well, what I'm looking to do is, we got a season coming up, and I'd love to invite the Queen down personally if she wants to come down and watch one of our games, kick out the first ball for us. That'd be a lot of fun. Also, we can get her in the gift shop and just give her 3 minutes to run around like crazy and put whatever she can into a set. Hello? Hello?
Premier League is on NBC and the NBC Sports Network.
street course racing certainly provides plenty of action, and we're going to see a lot more of it as open wheel racing returns to Houston with the IZOD IndyCar Series Shell Pennzoil Grand Prix of Houston. Don't miss it. It's the last doubleheader of the year. That's Saturday, October 5, Sunday, October 6th. From the streets of Houston, you'll see it right here on NBCSN. Hey, Robin Miller, what are your thoughts on today?
My thoughts today, Lee, it's too bad we got a 4-week break because I think it's the Hatfields and McCoys. I really do think we could actually have fisticuffs if we had a race next weekend. Instead, we're reminded of Cleveland, Portland, Toronto, carnage here, carnage there. This is the kind of thing A.J. Foyt, Parnelli Jones couldn't imagine because they never had a street race. But I think Castro Neves should, as soon as this race is over, he's back to 7th. He passed about 9 guys during the, here's the replay, during the yellow. And you can just see him creeping by everybody because that's what you have to do when you're back there and you're picking your way through the field.
Inside.
But I would say this, he should get on a plane right after this race and go right to Vegas.
Yeah.
That's where I'd be going. I might be going there anyway, though, Lee.
Well, I think the two best examples, Robin, of just hanging in there today, Aurelio Castro Neves and race leader Marco Andretti.
Listen, I'm starting to think that I got a shot to win this thing by virtue of not crashing. I'm sitting in the booth.
Drama here. There's a little rub smoke there for James Hinchcliffe. Remember, he was stuck up against the wall.
That was Graham. That was Graham who was trying to just force his way by.
He's on pit road to have that seen too. Boy, I don't think there's one driver who has not been involved in some kind of incident today, Jan.
Yes, he obviously found himself pinned up against the wall. And we saw from the onboard for Graham Rahal that Graham was trying to pull forward, just kind of kept trying to push him. He is restarted, hoping to salvage something, but obviously way back. They look to see if they can clear that bodywork. In fact, they do. They take off the whole pod section, but they still need one tire to change. Don't send them yet. Get that going, but certainly a rough day for the GoDaddy entry in James Hinchcliffe.
And it's a rough streak. Since he won Iowa, he has had some really frustrating results. We're ready to go racing again. It's restart time. Marco Andretti out in front. Did they wave that off?
They did, and they should. Because there's a restart cone, and he went well before that. And they're supposed to be side by side.
Of course they are, but he also knows he doesn't want to be side by side. But
if that happens again, Wally, he's going to go to the back.
Yeah. And he got away with it the last time too. That's what I was asking. I was like, wow, that was a pretty good restart for Marco.
And don't forget what happened at the last race at Sonoma. You had Roger Penske after the race in Marco's face
because he felt he was jumping the restarts.
That's right.
I think you may have inherited some of those Chief Stewart genes from your father, Wally.
No.
I don't know how you convince anybody to be a chief steward after watching this race today. That is thankless work.
So they get another lap under caution, and they will repack and grid up. And as we do each and every round of the IZOD IndyCar Series, we remind you to take part in what is a fabulous opportunity. You could be leading the field to green inside the IZOD two-seater. Today it was Alan Zassini who was driving it. Normally it is Mario Andretti.
9 laps remaining.
Or Ari Lyondike. And all you got to do is go to shophonda.com for your chance to lead the field to green. It's Honda's fastest seat in sports sweepstakes. Well worthwhile. All right, we're ready to go racing. Let's finish this thing off. Let's pack up. Let's race hard. Let's race fast and clean and make it an exciting run to the end. Keep in mind, Marco Andretti has what a finish we're setting up for. Newgarden is catching him all the time.
He is coming. Looking at the lap times, Rob Edwards told Pagano half a second. It's more like 6.5 tenths right now. Let's see what the lap times are as they cross the lines. That gap is gone.
22-year-old from Nashville, Tennessee.
Huge. Now 4 laps to go, so Sarah Fisher Racing needs to be on the radio to Newgarden, coaching him on when to use those push-to-passes. You don't want to end the race with money in the bank.
Kevin, this could be the day Joseph Newgarden and Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing have been waiting a long time for.
And the goal going into the day was clearly podium. It wasn't just to get a good finish and have a clean race and a good 5th-place finishes. We're ready for a podium, and they're still telling me, attack, use your push-to-passes, go get them.
I'd also be telling them Pagano's right front wing is a little bit damaged, just to give you a little bit more incentive if I'm Newgarden.
Well, remember, Newgarden earlier in the race, we thought he had a strong car, but he burned up his tires trying to get around Wilson. Hopefully, he's going to make some adjustment here. You see him running wide there. He lost quite a bit of time in that turn 9.
Yep.
Now, he's not on his push to...
That margin's gone back up to 1.7.
But you got to save one.
Yeah.
One for the pass.
2.2 seconds it's blown out to. Now comes back to about 1.9 as Joseph Newgarden left his run a little too late.
And further back, the madness continues as Marco is stacking up the field.
Oh, yeah, we could possibly have a caution the way this looks before this race is over.
3 laps left for the Grand Prix of Baltimore. Big inside moves here. What an overtaking.
Almost running out of road.
Get chip points that will grow his lead over Scott Dixon. Meanwhile, up front, Simon Pagenaud has blown out his lead to 2.8 seconds over Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a real hard time reeling him in at this point, guys.
Thought, you know what? If it's not there, I'm going to take my first podium.
And it means so much for Wink Hartman, who has put so much into this team with Sarah Fisher. They needed a result like this to put them on the map.
I'm not sure he's just wanting to take that podium.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to be careful because Sebastian Bourdais is coming. And Sebastian's only about a second back, so he can't throttle back too much.
A Frenchman and an American and another Frenchman fill the top 3 places. Right now, Joseph Newgarden finds himself in the middle of 2 of the most diverse drivers in the world. Whether it's open-top cars, whether it's sports cars, whether it's V8 supercars, the guys front and behind him are amazing drivers on a global level. This 22-year-old American is in fine company right now.
He's in fine company, but he is not in friendly company. Sebastian Bourdais has really closed that gap. There's going to be one chance here for Bourdais to have a run. And it could come on the front straightaway after the chicane.
Yeah, I think Newgarden will make his car wide enough to make it. If Bourdais gonna pass him, he needs
it. For Sonoma, of course. Beautiful sight. It's been a wonderful weekend, and we will wrap things up when we come back to Baltimore. Exciting times in the championship because we are far from done. If you want to see some more street fights, well, in a month's time, the Grand Prix of Houston, it's the final double-header of the year, the 5th and 6th of October, and then we wrap things up in the traditional format of Auto Club Speedway Fontana in California on October 19th. So a busy month to wrap things up. It's time for people to draw a breath, catch a breath, have a little bit of a break in between as we take a look at the results. And what a very different looking podium. 2 Frenchmen and an American, Pagenaud, Newgarden, Bourdais, wonderful stuff there. Simona Di Silvestro behind Wilson to get a top 5. And then Sebastian Saavedra with a personal best in a long time. Championship leader Helio Castro Neves hanging on in 9th place. Before we say farewell, I want to thank our crew on the production side of things who have had a very busy time to come all the way from Sonoma to Baltimore and put this show together on an extremely hot and humid day. We say thank you, crew. Wally, final thoughts?
I can't wait to Houston. I mean, this has been such a great year in IndyCar racing with all these different people getting podiums and stuff. It's been fantastic.
Townsend?
Well, for me, it's great to see all the drama, all the battles, all the dive bombs. I think it's because we've got 10 different winners this year. You've got a guy that'll always be in 10th place that says, I need to win. I'm going for it.
I want to be that 11th winner. Exactly. Well, another reminder, don't go anywhere because the Firestone Indy Lights race is coming up next. The IZOD IndyCar Series continues, as I mentioned, those 2 races on the streets of Houston, and that's Saturday, October 5th at 3 o'clock Eastern, so that's in a month's time. What a dramatic day in the series. To find out all the information and all the more, go to NBCSports.com. Congratulations to Simon Pagenaud, and thank you for watching the IZOD IndyCar Series on your home of open wheel racing. We'll see you from Houston.